What celebrity had the worst death? Anton Yelchin. I think Anne Heche trapped in a burning car would be up there. Anyone who suffered long-term. Patrick Swayze comes to mind. Vic Morrow. Decapitated by helicopter while filming The Amazing Twilight Zone, the movie edit, spelling. Alan Turing was sentenced to chemical castration for being gay. This more or less destroyed his mental health, and he died from cyanide, possibly inhalation, after allegedly reenacting the poison apple scene from Snow White. So 18 months of deterioration from the drugs before death for one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. Isadora Duncan, dancer, died on Sept. 14, 1927, when she was riding in an open car and the long silk scarf she was wearing got caught in a wheel and axle. She was pulled from the car and broke her neck. Maybe not the worst, but high-ranking for betrayal at death. Selena Quintanilla was murdered by her fan club manager when confronted about embezzling funds. Selena Quintanilla wiki:/n.m.wikipedia.org Wiki Selena. Owen Hart, a professional wrestler who sometimes used to wrestle as the Blue Blazer and come down from the rafters of the arena using a harness and rope. Something happened where the quick release mechanism triggered, and he fell 78 ft to his death in front of a live crowd during a live pay-per-view event. The fucked up thing is that Vince McMahon, former owner of WF, chose to continue with the event, and Jim Ross, play-by-play commentator, had to tell the audience at home what happened. Phil Hartman, Jane Mansfield. Off the top of my head from a recent headline, Naya Rivera. Although I was never a fan of the show she starred in, Glee, I think dying by drowning because you're trying to rescue your beloved, drowning child. Brandon Lee, n.wikipedia.org Wiki Brandon Lee death, crazy circumstances to basically make a live round out of a dummy, then a blank round. Multiple firearm failure checks. So sad. He'll go with Christopher Reeves. Complete paralysis is among the worst tortures I've seen a person go through. It is horrible. The complications slowly build up, and it is a constant struggle to stave off infections and sores. There's the idea that a person at least can't feel the pain in their body, but the body itself still feels and reacts to pain even if the mind doesn't entirely register it, and it is intensely uncomfortable. Not to mention what pain they do feel is intense, and there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. Add on to that, after the injury the person is constantly dying. Everybody around the person is struggling 247 to keep the person alive and relatively healthy. But it is ultimately a losing battle while the body constantly degrades until something just fails. There is nobody on earth or in hell I would wish this evil upon. I mean, Sharon Tate was an actress from Valley of the Dolls and was butchered by the Manson family. Jane Mansfield had a pretty horrific death. Robin Williams was in hell before he took his life. Jane Mansfield died after hitting the back of a truck and essentially being scalped. Apparently she wasn't decapitated, as the story goes. Steve Irwin. Bob Ross. Chris Farley's downward spiral and eventual death is hella sad. Those crime scene photos will haunt me forever.